Get started. Good evening. This is the meeting of the Rowley Board of Selectmen for December 3rd, 2018. This meeting is being audio and video recorded. Our first order of business is a Pledge of Allegiance. Captain Sedgwick, would you lead us?
Of course. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our first order of business is a 7 p.m. appointment with Police Chief Scott Dumas to present Christopher Cassidy for appointment as a reserve police officer. And we will have public comment from 7:10 to 7:15. Chief.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. It is with a distinct pleasure that I introduce you again. I know Chris is going to look familiar to you because he's already on duty as a sworn in as a Rowley call firefighter. But Chris is a town resident for the town, lives in the town of Rowley. He has been working with the police department as a per diem dispatcher. Chris is also a member of the Army National Guard. He works full time for the Amesbury Water Department since 2010. I honestly don't know when the gentleman finds time to eat or sleep. Chris is, whenever he can work, whenever he can put the time in, despite his full-time position, he'll come and work a half shift for us over as a per diem officer. He's a graduate of the Melita Academy. He's wanted to be a police officer for a while, and during all of that process, he went and attended the part-time police academy, and he's eager to get started with the town of Rowley. So it is I offer him for your consideration with deep honor. He has a real good following throughout the town, and you know, get Bobby Adams here and Gavin Corney that's out there, Jesse Madzi, some other officers that we have. He's made quite an impact already during his time here as a per diem dispatcher and working with the fire department. So I offer Chris Cassidy's here with his family and his girlfriend here tonight.
Thank you. And welcome aboard. Glad to have you. Any discussion before we take a vote?
Do you want to say anything? Or?
I think the chief summed it up nicely.
He's smart, too. Quit while you're ahead. Okay, does anyone want to make a motion to appoint Christopher Cassidy as a reserve police officer?
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Great.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chris.
Come on up, Will.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You can hang your goal. It's entirely up to you.
We're close enough to our 7.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're close enough to our 7:05 appointment, which is with Police Chief Scott Dumas and Police Captain David Sedgwick to discuss a request from Captain Sedgwick for paid leave of absence to attend the Executive Leadership Training Program of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We have a letter from Captain Sedgwick, which I'll read. Dear Board of Selectmen, please accept this letter as a request for a paid leave of absence from the town of Rowley in order to attend executive leadership training at the FBI National Academy in Quantico, Virginia. The dates requested for the leave are January 7th, 2019 through March 15, 2019. I respectfully request that all accruals remain in effect during my absence. The FBI National Academy is a 10-week executive leadership course for law enforcement officers that have assumed a level of responsibility within their respective departments. It is highly competitive, highly sought-after training curriculum not readily available to officers in my position. The town of Rowley has never had an officer attend the National Academy. I have received the support of Chief Dumas, who has attached an outline that goes further into detail of what the National Academy represents and how attendance benefits the town of Rowley. I am respectfully requesting your support as well. Hey, Chief, you submitted a letter which is kind of extensive. Do you want to either read it or paraphrase it, or?
I'll paraphrase it, and basically what the letter outlines. As you know, I am a National Academy graduate myself. It's one of the most rewarding experiences that I've had in leadership, executive law enforcement training in my entire career. The FBI National Academy really focuses on three tenets: executive leadership, or any training there. All courses are either graduate or undergraduate level, all accredited to the University of Virginia, and the attendee is able to gain college credits as well during the time that he's there. The other component is physical fitness, not just the physical training, but the whole body, nutrition, how to live a healthy lifestyle. And the third is the networking component. And the networking component is really what the experience is after you graduate from the FBI National Academy. During my interview here with the Board of Selectmen, one of the things that I think pushed me over the top, and at least that was part of the discussion during that time, was my attendance at the FBI National Academy. And mostly because not only the training that it gave you, but the relationships and the networking capabilities, which is really the true value of what the National Academy brings to you. During that time, when I came into the town of Raleigh, I've never worked in the state of Massachusetts, but I knew many of the police chiefs on a first-name basis, and those relationships that you have during those times are vital for any critical incident that may come about. And you never know what's going to happen, whether it's small-town Raleigh or Boston, Massachusetts. You want to have those relationships prior to needing those relationships, and that's the huge value of the National Academy and what it brings. I attached also a letter from current President Johnny Adams, who's actually he's the chief of police out in Santa Monica College right now, and they're dealing with the fires out in California. And a lot of the properties that belong to Santa Monica College, he had to have constant contact with folks that he didn't know, other than the fact that they were National Academy graduates, and he was able to get firsthand information, from these folks. It opens up doors that wouldn't be readily available to you during the process. It's a highly competitive leadership training to be there. We're very fortunate to have an officer to have been selected, for attendance at the academy. It's a huge commitment. I understand that from the town during this time, but it's an investment. It's an investment in the agency, and it's an investment in the officer, and I know that investment will be paid in dividends upon its return. Captain Sedgwick worked 26 years for the town of Raleigh, and I believe he'll retire here with the town of Raleigh, but that's a question, folks, for you folks. I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't make him more marketable for another agency. It does, but I've had that conversation, a frank conversation with him, and that's not a concern of mine, nor should it be of yours. But feel free to ask Captain Sedgwick any questions in regards to those matters. It's not easy to lose Captain Sedgwick for 10 weeks. It's going to be a lot of work. That's going to be mostly borne by me, but also it gives me the opportunity to do some succession planning with some of the sergeants that are coming up there, and so they can get a taste of the role in which they will someday probably be enjoying. Let's just say, So I'll answer any questions that I haven't summarized in regards to the National Academy, why I think it's important, but I just leave it at that for now.
So the FBI is paying for the training and for lodging, correct?
Yes, training, meals. The only cost that is incorporated with the town of Raleigh is the travel down and travel back. And that's something that can be absorbed in my current budget. I don't need additional funding for that. It's a price of a plane ticket. I actually laid out 3 outlines in there. Pay for mileage, a plane ticket, or a vehicle down. Take the vehicle that's assigned to them down there, and it'll cost me a couple of tanks of gas, which that's my preferable. And it'll be about $300 roughly total in cost to the budget. Everything else is absorbed by the FBI, and it's picked up.
I'd like to comment simply. When Scott came on board,
here, and I heard that he was going to be inducted as president of the FBI Academy. And I went down to Washington, and the camaraderie is just incredible. And to see these officers from all over the world, and it's a fabulous group. And I'm sure that, as you build friendships, if you're, going down, it's a tremendous organization, and the rewards are just outstanding. I can't say enough good things about it. It was just, I met so many wonderful people. Not being in law enforcement, it was just amazing. Really, truly amazing. Wonderful group.
Thank you, Joe.
I would like to hear from the captain, and give us a little synopsis of how you feel and what you intend to do. And how
Sure,
you
sure.
give you a chance to speak.
As the chief indicated, I've been here for 26 years. My plan right now is to stay for another 15 until the state throws me out. So I've dedicated over half my life to the town of Raleigh, and I plan on staying here, like I said, until they ask me to leave. So this is an opportunity of a lifetime. Everybody who's gone to the National Academy says it's the #1 training that you can receive. It's the most coveted training that you can get. People from all over the state, all over this country, all over the world, as a matter of fact, are trying to get into this academy. And I happen to have a spot, and I'm very much looking forward to going. I hope you feel the same way, that that's an appropriate move on your end, on my end, and said I look forward to the opportunity. So
I just think, being a former law enforcement officer myself, knowing the prestige of the academy and the type of training, and the chief obviously has been great since we hired him. Is one of the reasons why I voted for him, was because of the prestige and the learning, leadership training that you get from that academy. And I never had a chance to go myself, but I'm familiar with other people that have gone, and everyone extols the experience as being something that's really great. Furthermore, I think that any time we have a chance to send not just a police officer, but any one of our town employees to some kind of specialized training that benefits both themselves, which it obviously does, and hopefully it'll benefit Raleigh in the long run. But I think it's just an opportunity that, with a minimal amount of cost to the town, and the chiefs have really agreed that he can pretty much take care of the executive duties along with assistance from the sergeants, that I think I wholeheartedly support his going to the academy.
Thank you.
I grew up at a policeman's table, so I understand police work pretty well. I've heard all the stories. And very first person I met in the town of Raleigh was a young officer Sedgwick, who I hadn't bought the house yet, and I was standing in front of the house with my wife, and out the driveway comes the cruiser, and out comes Officer Sedgwick, comes up, asked me who I was, asked me to produce my license. I produced it, asked me a few questions, and then understood that I was purchasing the house, and welcomed me to the town, and said thank you, and got back on the cruiser and drove away. I turned to my wife and I said, I think we're going to like this town. And I was very impressed, and it was a very good experience that day. You probably don't remember. I don't know if you remember that. Remember that? And
Good answer.
yeah, and the FBI Academy, you hear it's the very best. It is the premier. It's the West Point of police work. It is. I can't say anything. I mean, you're going to go Hogan's Alley, right? Correct. And then there's you're going to appreciate this, the Yellow Brick Road, and that's all put together by the Marine Corps, and you won't thank the Marine Corps after that. It's about a 6.1 mile run through the Quantico Woods, and yeah, it's state of the art, and I think anytime we can send, somebody to premier law enforcement like this, I think it's an excellent thing to do. So,
Especially somebody who has the qualifications that
Yes.
you have.
yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, the motion is to grant paid leave for this
Right.
10-week program. Motion's been made. Any second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you very much.
Just a question before you talked about the vehicle or going down, what program you choose. You're recommending that you take a,
They take us a assigned vehicle, and that way it only costs me gas to and from.
and you have to bring equipment and stuff down with you?
I do.
Stuff like that, so, I don't know if we need to take a vote on that, or,
I think it would be nice if we could
Yep.
have an authorization, gives us a.
I'll make a motion to authorize him to take a
I'll second it.
police vehicle down with him, so that it makes it a lot easier. He has all his equipment. And he's gonna be on paid leave and still working for us anyway, so I think it's beneficial to him to have
Motion,
unmarked vehicle, I assume, right?
Yes, sir.
motion to authorize the use of a police vehicle has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? The ayes have it.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Nice job.
Chief,
Have fun.
Captain, you enjoy your,
Work hard. Good as usual.
I'm sure you
Thanks, Steve.
enjoy it.
Okay, we missed public comment, so I'll start it now. It will run until 7:23. Larry?
Yes, Larry White, Central Street. I noticed we received a letter from the Selectmen to the Triton Board outlining a proposal for this year's Triton budget. However, there was not a baseline for that budget, and my concern is that Triton might assume that the baseline for it is the final budget that was approved at the second town meeting, and my feeling is that the baseline should be what was approved at the first town meeting, as the voters basically said, this is what we want. They disapproved any override. And I would propose that we stick with the baseline that the voters approved for your baseline, and then the $290,000 adjustment for Triton's new budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is liquor license renewals. All existing license renewals have been submitted except for Rowley Veterans Association and Rowley Golf Course LLC, which is a seasonal license. Since this is a seasonal license, a different renewal period will be renewed in April. Please note the following for the renewals. The Brian Bard Inn license will be held until the certificate of occupancy is issued by the building inspector. There are two facilities with outstanding taxes, the Bradford Tavern of 76 cents and Easy LLC of $12.19. The renewal for Rowley Liquors is complete. However, there were some difficulties this year because the applicant had not provided updated contact and address information. Upon reaching a representative, we were told that George Degas is not really involved in the business anymore. He is listed as the manager, therefore we believe they need to submit a change of manager application. Does the board wish to process the renewal and send the applicant a letter requesting that they submit a change of manager application? Rowley Veterans Association, Amy mailed out the renewal packages to licensees on October 16. On October 29, Amy sent courtesy emails to licensees who hadn't yet returned their renewal packages. Acting manager Richard Donsid at the Rowley Veterans Association called Amy, and he seemed unaware of the renewal but said he would look for the paperwork. Note there is a change of manager and board of directors application for the RVA pending with the ABCC. Apparently, Mr. Dodson asked RVA bartender Caroline Jean to work on the renewal paperwork. On Friday, November 30th, she submitted paperwork to our staff assistant, Elaine, which was date stamped November 30th, with the understanding that Amy would review it on Monday. Amy reviewed the submittal this morning. Since she does not work on Fridays, and the paperwork submitted is an application for multiple amendments, not the 2019 license renewal paperwork. RVA bartender Caroline Jean came into the office this morning, and Amy informed her about the incorrect paperwork that she had submitted. Amy gave her a copy of the renewal paperwork that was mailed out on October 16. We have asked the ABCC for guidance about how the board can proceed on this renewal, given that the November 30th deadline for receipt of the renewal under the state law has passed. We have not heard back from the ABCC. Debbie spoke to Richard Dodson today and told him that we asked the ABCC for guidance and that the 2019 renewal package was mailed in the middle of October. She told him that the RVA president is responsible for getting the 2019 renewal filed.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I think on Raleigh Liquors, I think we need to wait until we get a complete application, particularly considering the fact that we're dealing with the Raleigh RVA. And I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first year we've been having all this kind of, not so much the RVA, but other licenses that aren't coming in with correct paperwork.
It is complete.
It's complete. There was just a lot of back and forth trying to reach somebody.
For Raleigh Liquors is complete?
The manager's number was not correct, right?
Right.
So it's now complete?
Yes, they gave us the complete application with corrections on it, but I just think that they have a change of manager that needs to be addressed. So they would have to submit
It's a
an
separate issue,
application.
right.
It's a separate application.
Okay, well, in that case, I'll go along with that one. On the RVA, I mean, we've had these people in, lost track of how many different times. Mr. Dodson became the manager, and we had some concern about how many hours he was going to be putting in there versus his other full-time job. And I think it's to give the most important paperwork of the year, the renewal, to a bartender to take care of, I think is totally irresponsible as far as I'm concerned. If he's going to be the manager, he's a manager. If he doesn't want to be manager, then get someone else in there that can manage. But the manager's job is to do the paperwork, amongst other things. But I mean, after everything we've done for them, we've talked to them, we've given them breaks and chances, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm not gonna vote to renew their license tonight. Let the ABCC tell us what to do, and if we have to go back to square one, then we'll go back to
We
square
were
one.
recommending, Amy and I are recommending that that be held.
Right.
Because what was actually filed by the deadline wasn't the renewal. It was nothing to do with the renewal. It was some other ABCC forms on change of manager, multiple amendment form. So that's a state requirement. It's not a local requirement. That's why the ABCC needs to make that determination on how they would interpret it. Mr. Dodson showed up this evening with the renewal. I don't think he had the fee, but
Right, everything.
the payment. But we haven't, I think it appears to be correct. But we would need to wait for the ABCC to make that determination, so we're asking the board to hold that until next week, until they make that determination. If they don't allow it pursuant to their law, their requirement, then they would have to have a new application.
Okay, so we'll proceed with all the applications except for Raleigh.
Yes, and then any, there was some small taxes that are due, those can all be held. If you vote to approve them contingent upon the payment of that, we'll hold the actual license in the
Okay.
office till that's paid.
Okay, Bernie?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the process is, but my understanding is that Easy Variety, which is the plaza on Route 1, that's been vacant for at least
Yeah. They've moved from there, the license has moved.
Mr. Chairman,
It's 1A.
is we,
It's still at 300 Newbury Turnpike Unit 5, which is that's the unit.
Mr. Chairman, AZ Variety holds the liquor license under the state says they still hold it until it's approved by the ABCC for the transfer. So there's a transfer pending, and during renewal season, the existing owner of record, AZ Variety, of their license has to file for the renewal, even though they're not.
On the
business.
Route 1?
So it's a pending one. The selectmen need to approve that because it's not us, it's the state that's been reviewing that application since, I want to say 6 or 7 months. It's at the state. So that needs to be renewed so that the Raleigh, the business down the street here, the convenience store,
Right.
can still get their, have that transaction completed.
Okay.
Do
All
you want
right.
to take Raleigh Veterans and postpone that till the 12th?
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
gonna,
Okay.
I'm going to read the names of the stores, all the stores except for Raleigh Veterans. So
Okay.
we'll postpone Raleigh Veterans. So the first one is Skins Incorporated, DBA Spuds. And there's a note here, send follow-up letter regarding change of manager. Second is Rowley Enterprises, DBA Skips Country Store. Galbor Inc., DBA Route 1 Liquors. Nippon Tapatagonan, TJ Thai. The Great American Barbecue, DBA The American Barbecue. Pymar, DBA Off the Vine. Rickle, DBA Bradford Tavern, which owes taxes of 76 cents. Cabales, DBA El Tapatio. Easy LLC. Grape Island, DBA Mill River Winery. And the Briar Barn Inn, DBA the Briar Barn Inn. It will be held in the Selectman's office until building inspector issues a certificate of occupancy. Okay, someone make a motion to approve the renewals for those liquor licensees.
Make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Any
Second.
seconds?
Can I just ask a question, Mr. Chairman?
Certainly.
Great American Barbecue, we had a hearing on them for the outdoor serving, and did we ever get anything back on that, or is that moving forward, or did I miss
They're
something?
waiting, financing to move forward, and so I believe.
So they haven't done anything, they're just waiting for,
ABCC hasn't
to make the
approved yet,
changes
yeah.
in the building and so,
It's still
okay.
at the ABCC.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the motion to approve the renewals has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, now in terms of flea market renewals, we've got three flea market renewals. All taxes, water, and light bills are paid. We need to approve and sign the licenses. The licenses will be available in the Selectman's office this week. The three licensees are Star P. Todd, DBA The Todd Farm, Sander Hamill, DBA Sandy's Flea, Frank and or Shirley Todd, DBA Todd's River Farm. So I'm going to make a motion to approve the renewal of those flea market licenses.
Make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, moving on to new business. New business and public comment period is closed. New business number one is to discuss the January 14, 2019 special town meeting warrant. The warrant for the special town meeting closed today. I wanted to put this on the agenda to basically discuss the status of the articles that we intended to put on the special town meeting warrant. Originally, we thought there would be 4 significant zoning articles that the town could vote on, and a few miscellaneous items. Well, the CPC is one. There might be a couple other things there, but one of those 4 zoning articles has been taken off the table. That's the article that's submitted by John Coughlin of the Forest Ridge subdivision. He has basically asked that we defer that to the Maytown meeting, so obviously we're not going to go forward with that in January. We still have, of the other 3 zoning articles, we still have 2 that are subject to a planning board hearing. I'm sure we all have heard of the difficulties that the planning board has experienced in getting the job done. It's been very difficult for them, and there has been some unfortunate delays. Those articles, the public hearings for those articles are scheduled to be held this Wednesday upstairs. Hopefully it won't be too cold and they can go ahead with them. There is some opposition to one of those articles. That's the article for rezoning north of Weathersfield Street along Route 1. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. The 4th article was the Didax article, which the article itself has been pretty well finalized. I think the planning board has done an excellent job on that. However, we're still waiting to receive a development agreement from Didax. And basically, the development agreement is the legal document, or it's a contract really, that essentially says if you rezone this area and if you ultimately issue a special permit for a residential development on this area, we will convey the Didax building to the town. So essentially, it's a contractual transaction, just like any contract. And I really think we have to have that agreement in hand, and we have to approve it before the article is voted on. And I don't want the board members to be aware that there is a potential area of disagreement in connection with this whole project that has just recently arisen, and that is that the developer, Didax, would like to put apparently some restrictions on the town's ability to use the property. And specifically, they mention, basically what they want to prevent is the town using that property in a way that makes their residential development less appealing, which I think is actually a reasonable thing for them to think about. And for example, they have said, their attorney has said that they would not like to see Raleigh DPW open up shop on that property, on that site, because of all the trucks and the, piles of sand and salt and all that. So those issues would be worked out, addressed in this development agreement, which we don't have. I've been asking their attorney to submit it for a while now, and I think we may receive it this week. Of course, we don't know if it's acceptable until we get it, until town council is able to look at it. So I think the issue is, for the board, is whether, at this point, since we've had these difficulties in formalizing these articles and the various agreements, whether we still want to go ahead with the January special town meeting, or whether we want to punt and put everything off till the May town meeting. One option would be to wait until our next meeting on Monday, see where we are then, see if we have the development agreement in hand, see if it looks acceptable to the town, and then make that decision, whether to move forward on the town meeting or not.
Would we be able to get everything printed up in time for if we met next week?
It will be tight, so we have just so you know, in addition to what Chairman Pierce says, we would need an article to authorize the selectmen to accept the Didax property. We have 3 CPC articles, and we have an article to transfer money out of the cable revolving account so that the Raleigh Community Media Director can use that to upgrade the camera equipment. So that's it. So we don't have a lot.
What are the CPC articles?
There's a transfer for funds out of the CPC for Raleigh Housing Authority construction project. I think it's a roof and windows.
Right.
Transfer funds for archiving historical town clerk records, and then the state match came in just recently, and so that money would need to be appropriated. It came in a little higher than what the state forecast last budget season. So we can do that housekeeping work in May, but if there's a town meeting now, the CPC just thought it would be, better to do it if we had an opportunity sooner rather than later.
Do we really have the time?
I just think that, for the kind of money it costs us $5,000 or $6,000 to run a
Yeah,
special
right.
town meeting, I don't want to be forced, if we don't have any of these agreements from Didax, I don't want to be getting something on Friday and us having to make a decision by Monday, because it's probably going to be kind of a complicated legal situation.
It will be, yeah.
I think
Pretty complicated.
I think I just soon postpone the meeting, even if it's something, an emergency comes up, we can do it in February if we have to, or wait until spring if possible. I just think that for a couple of 3 or 4 articles, that, housekeeping, and I know there's been a lot of controversy. I haven't been there, but I've watched them on television, the planning board meetings, and so I think we need to give people a chance to assess those, and whether they go or they don't go, at least, I don't want the townspeople to feel that we're rushing into this just
Yeah.
to get the thing
And
passed.
it would take pressure off the planning board.
I really think we should postpone it, and if
And we
can
want the agreement reviewed by town council,
Yeah, I think
too.
we just,
Yeah, no, definitely.
we benefit greatly by postponing the whole thing for either.
Is Mr. Coughlin going to be ready in the spring with his?
He should be. I mean, that's pretty simple compared to
Yeah.
Didax. It's a lot
Yeah.
simpler, in my judgment, so, I don't see why he wouldn't be if he really wants to go ahead with it.
Dave says we're gonna spend, what, $3,000 to $5,000 for
Yeah,
something?
somewhere around 5,000, give or take, for,
Yeah.
that's just the printing of the warrants, the mailing, the,
In the dead of winter.
Yeah.
We don't even know what the weather's gonna be on the
You're
14th.
expecting people to come out in the middle
Right,
of January,
right.
and who knows?
and the other thing is, it's hard to get people to come to a special town meeting to begin with.
Right.
And if there's not a lot on there,
Right.
we may end up having a hard time getting a quorum anyway, so unless there's a lot of controversy about the zoning articles.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I just-
My
I
my
just
gut
don't-
feeling.
I'd be willing to make a motion to postpone indefinitely at this point.
Bernie, before you...
Yeah, the zoning one that's involves the intersection of Route 1 on Weathersfield Street north to Central Street, I think, from my perspective, that's going to be a highly controversial.
That's the one I was referring to.
Right, so I'm endorsing that motion, and since there's been no public discussion of it up to this point, and Wednesday this week is the first time it will be really presented and discussed, I'm not sure that I would bet that it will be resolved in a sufficient time to make them, to be able to put it on any January meeting.
I agree with that.
We got the holidays coming up.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff
I
going on.
mean, and then we're gonna have, what, 2 weeks after that? No, I think it's
Yeah.
the best idea to postpone this.
I'll second David's motion.
Okay, the motion to postpone the spring, the winter town meeting, or the special town meeting has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Did we do general business?
I skipped that.
Oh, okay.
New business number 2 and 3 are related, so I'll combine them. Basically, they're appeals to the ZBA to approve building lots, house lots, on Ellsworth Road. So there's 2 lots that we're talking about on Ellsworth Road, which the building inspector has decided not to issue a special building permit for, so the applicant has filed to the ZBA. And the question is, what comments do we have for the ZBA on these 2 applications? And this area on Ellsworth Road was the subject of litigation,
Yes.
which was recently decided in the town's favor, but which the plaintiff has filed an appeal, and so it's still in litigation. And so my only comment to the ZBA should be that because of the litigation, because both of these cases involve complicated legal issues, that they should involve Tom Mullen in the appeal as much as possible, even like attending the actual hearings. And
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Yes,
that's a
I
reasonable
agree.
request.
I would make a motion that we advise the zoning board of appeals to have town council involved in all the negotiations regarding these 2,
In present at the
Yeah,
ZBA
present.
hearings.
present as needed, or at least involved, so that.
I'd second that.
We've spent, what, 15, 20 years of legal fees up
yeah, I
there.
know, who knows how much? I thought you were going to say
Yeah, yeah.
15,000. I mean, it's more than that.
There were multiple thousands of dollars to
Yeah.
settle this case. It was settled in our favor, and now all of a sudden it's
As long as I've been on the board.
they're legal issues, yeah,
This.
yeah, definitely.
Okay, new business number 4 is a request from Crown Castle to approve the modification of AT&T's equipment at the cell tower at 124 Haverhill Street. The town planner, Kirk...
We didn't
Call the vote.
We didn't vote on
Mr.
that
Chairman,
motion.
excuse
Oh,
me,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Mr. Pierce made the motion and Mr. Snow second and.
No.
I think Joe made...
Mr. Peterson.
Peterson.
Mr. Peterson and
Right.
Mr. Snow.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Yeah, I have it. Okay, new business 4, which is a request from Crown Castle to approve the modification of AT&T's equipment at the cell tower at 124 Haverhill Street. Town planner Kirk Baker has informed us that the proposal presented by Crown Castle is exempt from site plan review by the planning board because there will be no dimensional changes to the tower or to the expansion of the ground level area. So the board needs to vote to authorize me to sign the approval.
I give you a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Any seconds?
Second.
The motion to sign the approval has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. New business number 5 is to review the Board of Health proposed revisions to the sale of tobacco products to minors regulations. Nurse, are you here for that?
I am.
I have to say, I haven't had a chance to read this, so.
I haven't seen them either, so
Oh.
I don't know. I passed a sample off to Frank, the one that we got from the Mass Municipal Association and the Mass Board of Health Agents, I think it is, Mass Association of Health Agents, something like that. And he said that he was going to contact them directly, and because it's quite large, and didn't seem to all be applicable to that particular regulation, and pull the specific pieces that were relevant to this situation.
But based on the meeting that we had up in Salisbury, that we have to take action if we're going to take action before the first of the year, because if we don't, then the statute says that the minors who are 18 can continue to buy until they turn 21. So for 3 years, they have the right to buy.
Yeah.
We could lock them until with this change.
The district's biggest concern in this is, of course, vaping. It's odorless, it's smokeless. It's very high nicotine content. Students can literally do this in the classrooms. We're trying to, we'll try to crack down in the district as much as we can. We've built policies around this, but there's only so much we can do. What would help is being able to crack down on the areas of sale. The state is putting in an over 21 regulation on January 1st that will prohibit sale to minors, or prohibit sale to anyone that's under 18 at that point. Those that are those that are turning 18 after January 1st. Those that are already 18 before December 31st will be able to continue to purchase for the next essentially 3 years until they be legal again. So we were anticipating that at least for the local supplies of this was going to cut us back so that our seniors and some of our juniors would not be able to purchase as of January 1st. And come to find out that all of our seniors, most of them are 18 already, and we have a number of juniors that are 18, plus we have the 18 to 22-year-old program at Triton. So they'll be able to continue to walk into, whatever store there is and purchase a vaping product, and in some cases they're doing it in bulk and being able to bring it back into the school system.
Yeah, looking at the changes they're making, it does seem that the entire focus is to raise the minimum age from 18 to 21. And the identification age, the ID verification age to 40.
Oh,
I'm not sure what it was
interesting.
before, but we're all off the hook anyway.
Yeah, so 75% of Mass cities and towns already have an under 21, had essentially already raised the purchase age to 21. So this is not an uncommon local regulation to kind of plug that gap.
Right.
Most retail stores, I think they challenge you anyways, no matter what, how much gray hair you have. They do challenge you and want to see your license.
I will have to try that.
Well, Fenway Park does. If you're 90 years old, they're still going to ask you.
That's right. Well, it can't be.
Any comments from the Board of Selectmen? I mean, this is totally under the purview of the Board of Health. Are there any comments from this board that you would like to convey to the Board of Health for the hearing next week?
I'd like to see us recommend that they adopt this regulation. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
how it's gonna, the final version, but I think of regulating the age to 21, I think is worthwhile.
Letter of
Public
support.
health and
Put a
the,
letter of support.
if it helps the school out, the same thing.
Okay, is that a motion?
Yeah.
I'm second.
Okay, the motion to send a letter of support has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thanks, Marissa.
Thank you.
Old business. Pine Grove School project update.
I want to let everybody know that I have been invited to the Christmas caroling on the 21st. It's a school function, by the way. It's for the school kids at Pine Grove, and it will be held in the all-purpose room on that Friday, the 21st. And so if you have been invited to some of the W.T. Rich guys, Tom Hood and a few of the Pink guys have been invited to come along, and I'm going to be there for the.
Gonna give any solos, man?
No, don't do that.
Okay.
But they are installing the kitchen equipment, and so that is, that will be ready for the turnover on the 19th. It's looking very, very good.
And Larry Berger at the school building committee meeting last Thursday noted that the project was 48% complete, so maybe 50, more than 50% complete, but I don't know. But we're getting there.
Very good.
Bernie?
Yes, is there any comment on the incident that occurred last week in terms of the fire on the roof, and who was responsible, and what, if any, mischief was actually?
It was an unfortunate accident. It was from the welder's torch being used up on the roof, I believe, and that he did not follow procedures, and the fire was quickly contained. They did follow procedure in that we had a call firefighter on duty at the school. And so the kids were evacuated from the building, and the fire was very quickly contained. It was not a hazard to the school building or to the kids.
So is there any damage to the roof, or?
No, no.
No, there was, I was down at the fire station that afternoon, and firefighter Dupree, I believe, was on duty, and quickly they extinguished the fire, and of course they showed up with the engine and the ladder, and
By protocol, they all the trucks have to turn out. They have to have mutual aid, and everybody comes because it's a school building. But they contained the fire. It was a very small area, and they were able to put out the fire very quickly.
so it was localized.
And they won't be welding up there again.
Well, that was really my bottom line.
Okay, old business number 2, fire station, police station addition project update. Work is well underway in the existing police station. The contractor is framing out the prisoner transfer area. The installation of the fence will continue. The overhead doors at the fire station have been installed. The stairs in the fire station training tower are in.
Just a note, Mr. Chairman, that we got about, shortly after the 1st of January, the project part, the building part of the project will be completed. The police department will be moving in sometime after January 2nd, shortly thereafter. The fire department will be done shortly thereafter that, if not at the same time. However, the fire department won't be probably moving in until March. They'll be moving equipment and stuff up there slowly. The other thing is that because of the weather, the landscaping and final paving coat won't be put down until spring. If people notice, they have installed some bushes and trees up there, and the contractor has agreed that they put them in the ground up here, assuming that they'll make it through the winter. However, they'll be warranted from a year from next spring. So this time here now, they're just trying to save the bushes and get them in early. But and the final coat of pavement will be done in the spring. So basically, the project's really in its last stages in terms of the buildings. The final roof work is going on the old police station to blend in with the new addition. So it's coming along well and looking good. So.
Good.
Yeah, I had to go down the other day to see the chief about an issue, and got a mini tour, and I was legal this time. And went through the building. I was very impressed. I mean, I grew up around police stations, and I was very impressed with this station. This is state of the art. There's a place for the reserve officers. There's a place with desks for the full-time officers. It's going to be quite impressive.
It's really, and people got to understand that it's built to last us for the next 50 to
Yes.
75 or 100 years in terms of space. So there's plenty of room for expansion, plenty of room for both fire services and police services are becoming more specialized on a yearly basis. We saw with Captain Sedgwick, some of the stuff he's gonna be doing, so they need space to properly perform investigations, and even in the fire department's the same way. We have male and female lockers and restrooms, so I mean, it's all, everybody talks about the size of the buildings, but it does us no good if we don't build a facility that's gonna last us for the next 40, 50 years,
And you know,
in terms of space.
policing is not what it used to be.
No.
It's completely different, it's gone high-tech.
And the project's, you know, on time
Yep.
and within the budget, and it's looking, from our perspective, I think it's looking really good at this point.
Well, that's what
Unless
this,
there's some
that's what this
hitches,
board,
it should be,
you know,
should be good.
put his foot down right from the beginning, that it was gonna come in,
Yeah.
you know, on time, on budget.
Well, I took advantage of the offer from the owner's project manager, Neil Joyce, and he took me through the fire station. I had been through the police station. I had quite a tour with Sergeant Zev on the police building, but I went through with Neil Joyce on the fire station, and that's quite a building. And it seems large from the outside, but when you look at the rooms and the way they have it laid out, they did a very, very good job. They have a very good training room, and they have good office space where they can conduct their business, and they have enough storage area. I think it'll work out very
I
well
think-
for the town.
I think also a year from now, when we look back at this and we see about the training rooms and everything else, this is gonna be very advantageous to the town for when it comes to training, because a lot of other towns are gonna come looking, you know, and bring that knowledge into the town also.
Well, a lot of times.
I think so.
Both departments, I mean, the amount of training now for police and fire is quite extensive.
Yeah.
And if we have the facilities to conduct the training in our buildings, it saves us tuition costs and things like that we would pay if we sent our people to other departments. So it's worthwhile to have the space, and obviously, like I say, it's, all of our town employees are stuffed into holes
Yeah.
all over from the annex to this building here. Most of the
Right.
office space is way too tight, so this is a start of really putting together two nice facilities that are gonna last us a long, long time that we can be proud of, and the way the weather's going, and, you know, these kinds of calamities, you know, it may well be that we have emergencies, weather emergencies, or chemical type, issues, or if we get with the commercial buildings we have out there, that to have a place to have emergency response center and those kinds of things is really gonna be valuable, so.
I mean, I think go back, you know, like 5 years ago, when we had the search committee just to get the land, and we
Yep.
were so lucky to get that land.
And we're always looking for ways to save the town money, and I'm looking forward to being able to take care of the investment that we've made in these fire trucks, that we have to wash them to keep the salt off. That has cost us thousands of dollars in repairs, and we will be able to take care of the trucks with this new building.
Make a big difference.
Yep.
Okay, old business number 3, which is an update on the Town Hall Annex Accessibility Project. The low bidder on this project, A.J. Wood, withdrew their bid because they said they hadn't factored in the price of metal guardrails. Their bid was $73,500 because the next low bidder was over budget, $103,000. We asked the architect to change the guardrails and handrails specifications from metal to pressure-treated wood, which will significantly reduce the project cost. So Debbie, then we'll have to go out to bid, correct? Well, that's too bad.
Yeah, we basically were shocked at the prices that came in.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, we found out that mainly it was primarily, it's still gonna be expensive, but the metal rails, which would have lasted a lifetime, had to be fabricated specifically, so we're gonna look at the architects redoing them with wood, and they should last 20, 30 years anyway, so.
Right.
And it's just a more reasonable figure, hopefully, when the bids will go out again.
Okay, moving on to general business number 1, which authorized Police Chief Scott Dumas to sign the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security State 911 grant forms.
I'll give you the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second,
Motion to authorize The chief to sign the forms has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it.
Mr. Chairman.
Bernie?
Sorry, I just had a thought on the town hall annex. If we're going to go back out to bid, is it possible to include A, with metal rails, and B, just wooden rails? And
Oh, no,
have
we know,
two-
we know what the metal rails are gonna cost, so it's gonna be
We're not going for metal.
somewhere between $75,000 and $100,000.
Yeah, we've already done bid.
We've already bid those, and the bids come in too high, so
Right.
with this, at this point, we're gonna go with the wood.
Okay.
Plus, if we use wood, it's gonna reduce the amount of downtime that the ramp will have, which will be a benefit to the Council on Aging, because the metal rails will have to be fabricated after the wood was put up, so there was gonna be an extra 2 or 3 weeks anyway, maybe longer, for the ramp to be down, so this way here, we'll expedite the building process at the same time.
Okay.
Okay, we have minutes for the November 5th, 2018 meeting. Dave, you were absent that meeting.
I'll give you a motion, Mr. Chairman, to accept the minutes for November 5th.
Second.
The motion to approve the minutes has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
I'll abstain.
Okay, I think all that's left is the announcements. Toys for Tots drop-off box is located at the Rowley Town Hall. The town has the following vacancies: Agricultural Commission Associate, Cultural Council, Fence Viewer, 3 positions, Wood Lumber and Bark Inspector, Zoning Board of Appeals Associate, 2 seats, and Deputy Shellfish Constables, 2 positions. For more information on these positions, please contact the Selectmen's office at 948-2372. The Rowley Food Pantry is in need of donations. Donations can be left at the Rowley Public Library. The food pantry is open on Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and on Thursdays from 5:30 to 7 p.m.
Give me a motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
A motion to adjourn has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.